What's up, Ragin Nation? My name is Alex. You're watching the Ragin Ronin review. In this video, I will be reviewing End of Watch. End of Watch is a movie directed by David Ayer, and it falls in the LA gangs crime genre. And David Ayer is no stranger to this genre because he was the screenwriter for The Awesome Training Day, but he was also the director for the very forgettable Harsh Times and Street Kings. However, I gotta say that his fourth time into the genre is pretty good. I gotta say that is very different from what I'm used to because I've seen a lot of police dramas, but I've never seen one told like this. The movie has a very unique narrative structure. It's told completely through the perspective of Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena's character. They're both LAPD cops, but Jake Gyllenhaal's character is very obsessed with vlogging. He carries a camera everywhere he goes, just like me. So automatically you're thinking, oh, this is a found footage movie. But it is and it isn't. You can't say that it's a found footage movie because nobody really found this footage. It's just the way the story is told. But the main thing you gotta know about this movie is that it is told completely through his perspective. You don't get to know other characters unless he's there with them. But in some cases throughout the movie, you get to see what's going on with other characters. For example, the antagonists in the film. We do get to see the gangsters, but other than some exchanges of dialogues, there's not really any insight on who they really are and what they're all about. I think that David Ayer took a really interesting approach to this genre, and I kind of like what he did. We got some pretty terrific performances from Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena. Out of all the movies that I've seen him in, I think this is probably his best performance to date. Now, going back to talking about the vision of the film, Jake Gyllenhaal will be carrying the camera and then it is filming him. Most of the movie is told in that style. But a part of it isn't. I would probably say that it is 1/3 told through the third person perspective and 2/3 through the first person. And I think that kind of weakens the movie a bit. Because when I'm watching the movie, I'm trying to figure out, whoa, where is this other perspective coming from? And why is there this other camera? And who's filming them as they're walking along? Is there supposed to be a cameraman there like it's an episode of Cops? That's where I'm confused a bit. And in my opinion, I think that it kind of hurts the vision for the film. But what I do like about it is that it gives us a very personal look into Jake Gyllenhaal's life as an LAPD cop dealing with gangs and all kinds of other situations that are very dangerous. It's a very raw and personal look, and it also shows us two sides of his character. His work life and his personal life. And it almost feels like two different movies. Because once you see him on the streets with his partner, it feels like, okay, this is the movie that I paid to watch. But then later on, you see more of his personal life. And it jumps back and forth between the two, but they're completely unrelated. And I think that is kind of unique because that is our moment to get to know Jake Gyllenhaal's character. This is not just a cop, this is a human dealing with everyday situations and dealing with everyday people and relationships. So that was a strong point about the film. But like I said, this vision was great for the film, but also hurt the film. I'm not someone who actually minds shaky camera work. I'm not someone who minds found footage films. In fact, I find the genre very fascinating, but one thing I do find annoying is when I don't know what the hell is going on. And there's this one scene where Michael Pena's character is having a fist fight with a suspect, and both of them have cameras strapped to them, right on their chest, in their pocket. It's like a pinhole camera. And then we see the fight from that perspective, and it's just shaky as hell. We don't know what the hell is going on. It's just a bunch of camera shake and close-ups, and it really annoyed the heck out of me, and I thought that that was totally unnecessary. I just hate it when I really don't know what's going on. I don't mind it if they do it a little bit. That way they show the audience a little bit of confusion, but not for the entire scene. It just really distracts the audience and takes away from our enjoyment of the film. But I felt that it did some really great things from the storytelling perspective, and that is when there are scenes where our two protagonists are going inside a house and they have their guns drawn and they don't know what's going to be in there. It puts the audience right in the middle of the action. The way they did it is so great because we don't know what's going to be in there and we don't know what's going to happen. So that was really effective in scenes like that. I felt that David Ayer really put together a very solid movie. It is one where we really connect with the character because of this effective way of telling the story. Ultimately, this was a very unique experience for me. And with this vision, I felt that David Ayer gave us a very visceral, brutal, and raw, and often terrifying and unpredictable take on what it's like to be an LAPD cop patrolling the streets of the ghetto. And David Ayer put us right in the middle of it all. When I walked out of the theater, I felt that that was a pretty good movie. But I ended up asking myself, could the movie have been just as effective in telling the story had it been told from the third-person perspective? And that is something that I couldn't really answer. A part of me was saying that it worked because it really got you invested into the character and you saw everything from his perspective, and it included seeing all these scary things and situations through his eyes. And no other perspective could have delivered the visuals more effectively. On the other hand, I was thinking if this movie was told in the third-person perspective, we wouldn't have to deal with overly shaky camera work or over-editing between different cameras, and also dealing with the constant reminder that Jake Gyllenhaal is filming. At several points in the movie, there's just this repetitive dialogue where someone says, "Get the camera out of my face." So does that really need to be there? Anyways, I really enjoyed this movie except for the points where I didn't know what the heck is going on. I give this movie an 8 out of 10, but I want to ask you guys a question. Do you think that this movie could have been told more effectively as a traditional movie told from the third-person perspective, or do you think that it was most effective when it was told in the first-person perspective through Jake Gyllenhaal's eyes? Let me know in the comment section below. Stay tuned for my next movie reviews because I'm going to watch Argo and 7 Psychopaths. My name is Alex Yu and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. But I just found out that the first Phase 3 movie, Ant-Man, will be officially released on November 6, 2015.